Hello everybody, good evening and welcome into DogZone, where we look back to the week that was, and what a week it was as well. The Group 1 Christchurch Casino New Zealand Stayers Cup taking the forefront, and also a couple of Group 2s to go over, as well as we welcome in Mark Rosanowski. Rozo, a stellar week in greyhound racing, and the best thing about it, the big races won by the best dogs, which isn't always the case. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Andy. That's right. And all greyhounds that we're going to review too in serious discussion for the Greyhound of the Year title. More on that as we go through. Andy, winter can be a really tough time for a whole variety of reasons, but like seriously, if you're a greyhound racing fan at the moment, getting through winter's not so bad because we're always on the cusp of something big. That's the way it's been throughout this winter. Seems like this one even more than ever, and of course we've got the additional nationals to look forward to now with heats coming up next week. We've got the Amazing Chaser in the middle of that period, and now we're reviewing 3 races, Andy, that won by, as you say, seriously good dogs, favoured dogs, delivering in fine style, and stars in their own right, kind of for different reasons.
Let's go back to Friday evening and the running of the first of them. It was the Group 1 Christchurch Casino New Zealand Stayers Cup taken out by Dinah Weslin. You're looking for the dog and the gold rug of box number 5.
A lot of talk, and showing up there we've got Dinah Weslin goes to the lead. Perfect Result will get a rails run. Now up on the outside, right up there at Power Hillary. They're followed further back there by Gold Star Sydney into the straight. A lot of talk, drifts a bit. Well back, No Potential. Vandergambo's got out of its ground, and Shooters Hill's full lengths last. Dinah Weslin the leader. Round the bend out of the straight away by 6. They're followed by a Power Hillary. Perfect Result about 3 lengths away. They were followed by a lot of talk running on a bit, and then we've got Gold Star Sydney. The others can't win. No Potential. Vandergambo's back with Shooters Hill, but on the corner, the real Dinah Weslin's turned up tonight. It's well clear. Dinah Weslin will race away. Second, Perfect Result in a photo with a Power Hillary, and out wider in the track, a lot of talk. They're followed further back there on crossing. Gold Star Sydney.
Joined by Craig Roberts, and Craig, things went wrong for her last week. Luckily she was on her game and that didn't happen again.
Yeah, that's right, Andy. Look, she jumped probably slightly better than last week, and that was good enough to be in front at the first bend. I saw the 8 sort of starting to angle across a wee bit, and yeah, just was a wee bit worried there for a couple of strides, but I could see she was a length in front of it, a full body length in front of it, so I was very, very happy when she was in front going around that first bend.
43 and 13 her overall time, obviously not near her track record, but for those at home it's very cold here tonight, so that's a good gallop.
Oh, a sensational gallop. I think I had a quick look at the semaphore board when she went past the sprint, past the winning post first. I think it was about 17, 18 odd, so not bad for a star running those sort of early sectionals.
You don't get many stars running that fast early. Where are we heading next?
She's nominated for the Amazing Chase, Andy, so we'll aim for that next, and then it'll be the Nationals after that.
So she heads to the Nationals. What happens to her there? Does she stay in Aussie or is she coming back?
No, I think if she does qualify to go to the final in Perth, I think we'll be saying goodbye to her, which will be a very sad time, but her future will be as a brood bitch.
Well, there you go. Enjoy the spoils tonight, Craig. Well done.
Thanks, Andy.
So it was Craig Roberts with his thoughts around Dinah Weslin, and it was great to see her bounce to the early lead. Obviously, she found all sorts of trouble in the heat, was still good enough to qualify. And Rozo, she was backed into a sub $2 favourite, which was justified in the end, and she looked the best greyhound in the race, and so it prevailed.
We did talk on the program last week, Andy, about the value in her at, I think, $2.10 at that stage, and she went out to $2.20. I know there was at least one $4,000 bet on her. Look, she effectively won this race last week, you know, Andy, in the heat, because she nearly fell. Her effort in the heat was unbelievable. So it was really just a case of her getting around this first bend okay, and a lot of talk led in the 2. And then Dinah Weslin headed him off, and that was it. And a Power Hillary got close to Weslin, but wasn't able to chop her like she'd managed to do last week, and from there it was going to be a procession because of the times that she is capable of running, even in those cool conditions, as Craig and you alluded to in that. Some great runs in behind, Andy. I think we'll touch on those shortly. Just on this greyhound, off the back of a silver collar win, the New Zealand Stayers Cup. It's not that it's a rare double, because the Stayers, it's a fairly small pool of stayers, if you like, so this can be done. But she has done it. She is quite brilliant in what she's done over 520 metres. She's a legitimate Amazing Chase chance, and of course she was in the Amazing Chase final last year at Hattrick. And then the Nationals, Andy, if she's to go through and win our qualifying series, she would be, I think, a serious threat in Perth at the end of August representing New Zealand. This is her, just fabulous. I honestly do believe that she didn't have to lead this race to win as long as she didn't get flattened like she did last week. And as I say, Andy, last week, somehow, she picked herself up to qualify when other dogs wouldn't have, and we would not have had the camera on her in the final because she wouldn't have been there.
Yeah, phenomenal effort in the heat, no doubt about that. And the only surprise was seeing her open at $2.10 after those heats. She was $1.80 pre-heat, and after that mammoth effort, she drifts out to $2.10, which was snapped up. She's absolute poetry in motion when she gets things right and races to the early lead. 17.18 for the sprint. Rosso, I think it was about the second or third fastest sprint on the night as well. We saw her obviously run an 06 for the sprint when she broke that track record, which was faster than dogs like She's a Ripper. But, gee, those early speeds she have, and to be able to carry it on for 732 metres, it's just mind-boggling.
That's why she's such a gem, and also the other top stayers that we've had, dogs like Ring the Bell, were able to rattle off Class 5 sprint times, and then they have the heart and courage to run another lap. It was only She's a Ripper, I think, on the night that ran faster than her, and her back end of the sprint sectional was faster than She's a Ripper, as you'd expect, I suppose, but it's still phenomenal that she's able to do that. And I think, Andy, that's what makes her as good as she is, and the fact that she could go to Australia, race the best stayers there and be a legitimate chance because she has got that early pace to put herself in the race. She's won a couple of races, of course, at the Meadows. And dogs in behind. I thought this was very encouraging from a staying perspective. Opawa Hillary, young dog, young stayer, tremendous performance to run second. We know Perfect Result is a fine stayer and is the 645 metre track record holder. A lot of talk, sort of encouraging there, leading out. Might have backed off a bit at the bend, but there was traffic and a bit of a bump. Found the line nicely, nearly paid a dividend. Shooter's Hill was never a winning chance, but made up good ground late. And of course, Van de Gambo finished towards the back there after getting out of its ground, but a welcome addition to the staying rank. So I think, looking in behind, even though they were well beaten by Dinah Wesleyan on the night, there's a lot of encouragement there, I think, for the stayers, particularly with dogs like Opawa Hillary and Perfect Result.
It was a good race in behind her, no doubt about that. A lot of talk getting home in 12.82, which is a good effort over these 700 metres. Only beaten by Shooter's Hill, who got home in 12.56, which is just a phenomenal run home over even the 600 metre journey at Addington, let alone 732 metres. Rosso, what did you make of Van de Gambo going into the first turn? It was a little bit odd from mine. It was almost like he lost sight of the lure. Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it? Because you think that when dogs come to a track like Addington and there's no outside fence, that they might take a run or two to get used to it. But the heat win, of course, had been extremely encouraging, and I guess that can happen, and it did look a bit like that. The dog's running over 645 metres this week, and look, hopefully from here on, no problems there for Callum Ware and for James van der Maat, and that Van de Gambo can continue with the very encouraging start that he has made to his New Zealand career, getting on the podium of the Silver Collar. But yeah, it was a bit odd into the bend, and of course once he was back there, he was never going to be able to recover from there. Glad you pointed out those run home times from sectionals.co.nz, because they do tell a story. And you can just write off dogs that finish back in the pack, but when you look at their section, you'll say, actually, they're running pretty well.
The other feature on Friday night was the Group 2 Barron South Island Champs. This one taken out by the old-timer Nature's Jet, box number 1, the Red Ruck.
The field away, jumping nicely, would have been Sailor Allen, followed out there by Double Speed and trying to get across there. We've got Dinah Varsity into the bend they run. The rail opening up for Nature's Jet will get a beautiful run through. Down the back they run. They were followed by Start the Show. Dinah Dave about 5 off the lead. Further back, M Grand Park. Last there, Mr. Matt out of the back. And here's Nature's Jet now, slipping up underneath them. Nature's Jet goes to the lead. Out by a length and a half. Dinah Dave's out. He's flying, but too late. Nature's Jet a half length. Dinah Dave third at the line. We've got Dinah Varsity there, followed Sailor Allen.
Paul, Nature's Jet adds another group title to his already illustrious record.
He's an amazing dog, isn't he, really? Dog you dream for.
He certainly is. Of course, won the New Zealand Cup back in 2017, so you've had him up for a long while. It's certainly accolades to you and Angela.
I think also the breeder David Pringle. He's keeps breeding good dogs and he does such a good job. And this dog's never had a problem. Touch wood.
Talk us through the run. Came up with the one. He was away well enough to bully up under them into the turn.
Well, I must admit, down the back straight, I was getting a little bit excited. Everything sort of fanned off and he had the rail, and it's certainly a long way down that straight. And Dinah Dave is no slug, so yes, it was a happy moment when the line went up.
Of course, nominated for the Amazing Chase as well, and now with the time on the board here, will we see him back for that, hopefully?
Well, he'll probably try and qualify at Wanganui or Auckland, but hey, it would be great to have him in it. He ran second last year, so.
Initial thoughts on your other fella, M. Grand Park?
I thought it was poor to start with. I saw the tape, he got a little bit lost, but hey, he's a green dog. He's got a lot of up to him.
That was Paul Freeman with his thoughts around Nature's Gent. And Rosso, we talk about longevity and greyhound racing. The winner of the New Zealand Cup in 2017. Well, we're halfway through 2019 now and he's still winning group racing.
He's amazing, Andy. I can't think of many dogs over the middle distance winning races like this at this age. In fact, I can't think of any right off the top of my head. A dog like Thrilling Sam nearly won a third Wellington Cup and he was over 4. But this is remarkable. Yeah, he got the draw and all of that. He's still running very good times, so he still had to deliver on that, and it's like he was only 4th early. What do you say about him? Again, that was a significant step, I think, for the potential for this dog to be New Zealand Greyhound of the Year. Now, I see they're opening it up for public nominations again, so we could have the farcical situation like we had last year of one of the key contenders, Alan Ablett, not being nominated. So please, Courtney, or somebody, nominate Nature's Gent. There's Courtney. And I'm sure they will, but it just seems ridiculous. Nature's Gent is a dog who defies logic in the modern greyhound racing world. And he's, what, 220 grand in the bin now. A couple of Group 1s this season to go with that 2017 Group 1 and now this Group 2 race, Andy. And it's for a Group 1 stake, and it's been a race that has been a Group 1 in the past and was Group 1 quality. Just well done to Angela, Paul, Courtney and the team there.
Yeah, certainly a big effort to keep a greyhound up for that long, especially at the top level. Well, one man who probably wishes that Paul and Ange had have decided not to come to Addington is Craig Roberts. He had 3 in the race, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. I caught up with him on Friday night to see what he thought of their runs. Craig had 3 go around in the South Island Champs. Dinah Dave, just another massive effort from him late in the piece.
Yeah, look, he actually jumped okay, but I haven't seen the replay, but he got, you can tell he got hindered going around that first bend and lost his posse, and he had a lot of work to do after that, and gee, he's gone massive again. Another unlucky group race run.
He's going to be one of those greyhounds, isn't he?
Yeah, well, as I said, he could be one of the best dogs I've trained never to, or even been in New Zealand, never to have won a group race, so he's hoping I'm wrong.
Amazing Chase, obviously on the back doorstep, coming up soon, and a race right up his alley.
Yeah, well, it will be. Yeah, I mean, it's early days, but at the moment he's got the quickest time. So I think he's going to need to improve on that, to be fair, to get in the top 3. But look, it's middle of winter, so the times aren't quite as good this time of year. So, but yeah, look, I'm looking forward to the Amazing Chase with him.
Dinah Varsity, relatively inexperienced dog, only Class 3. He ran out of his skin.
Yeah, he did. You know, look, when he won his first start, he went very quick, and so we knew he had the ability. And we put him in it, and look, he's done us proud. We couldn't ask for more from him.
Sailor Ellen Burton, the Merle, just struggles a little bit with the 500.
Yeah, I think if he had probably sat on the rail around the home bend, the one would have got held up a wee bit, and I think it would have been Dave's race, but because he's happy to go inside or outside. And but hey, look, it doesn't matter. I mean, if we couldn't win it, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th's the next best.
Certainly a big effort from the team there, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, as he alluded to. Dinah Dave finishing into 2nd. Rosso, he's going to be one of those greyhounds. We know how fast he is. He's got some phenomenal run-home times at Addington. I think one of his best in 11.79, which is just phenomenal over 520 metres. Just on the wrong side of M. Grand Park into the turn, and that caused him to drift back. But, gee, hits the line strong.
Yeah, look, I'm a huge fan of Dave. I love the dog, Andy, and I'd love him to win a decent race. I didn't think this was one of his better races, to be frank. If we look at him here, he's jumped well here. I think he's, I know he comes together with Emery Park around the bend, but he's losing ground there, which last week he didn't seem to do. Off a similar jump, he kind of surged and found the front. Now, they come together there. By the way, M Grand Park, he's a serious dog. He gets checked before the turn too. He's got a big race in him, this dog, and he can find the line strongly. Look, from here, Dave's been terrific, as he is, as he can be. He was amazing in the New Zealand Cup. He's put in some astonishing performances at Wanganui as well, when I've been lucky enough to call him. I just thought off his jump, Andy, that the next part of his race, until he got that bump with M Grand Park, wasn't great. The rest of his race was. It's a great shame he's missed out there, but look, he's still got opportunities to come, and I do hope Dave gets that group race win. As I say, keep an eye on M Grand Park as well. Dyna Varsity, well, Class 3 this week looks at that dog's Mercy. Yeah, but look, put it this way, I think I've seen better Dyna Dave defeats.
Yeah, I agree with you. It would have been interesting had he have got around or underneath M Grand Park a little bit earlier. Obviously, his run home was phenomenal. He got home in 12:04. Again, thanks to sectionals.co.nz for that information. But you can't take anything away from the winner in Nature's Gent. We're going to head to a quick break here on DogZone. On the other side, we'll catch up with Jake Bell and Allegro Gun.
Second lane's Allegro Gun. Racing a best out Allegro Gun from Storm Warning. Allegro Gun's in front, coming after him, right 8 over. Allegro Gun wins the North Island Challenge Stakes for his first middle distance win. Jake, Allegro Gun is with you, standing at stud, so tell us about getting him and how he's been. How has he settled in with you?
No, he's settled in very well, Rozzo. He's a lovely dog at home, beautiful temperament. It's just a wonder to have at home. We're quite lucky to actually get him at home, to be honest. Cyril and Robin Evans, we train a few dogs for them now, and they wanted him at stud after such a good record, so he's at home, standing. He's all ready to go. Straws come off on Thursday. His semen count's very good, so we're all ready to go after Thursday.
So in terms of trying a new sire, if you like, we need to look at his race record, and that's exemplary, really. 45 wins, $120,000 in stakes.
Yeah, no, he was a very good dog. It was, the times he ran over 500 metres were real good. His times over 4.57 were sharp. He's got the track record at Wanganui over the sprint. Like, I think he's just a pretty good all-round dog, you know.
Probably the key to it, I guess, is that as well as having that sprint record at Patrick, as you say, over the 305, his ability to run sharp sectionals and still see out 520 metres against good dogs.
Yeah, even though I watched a few of his races when I was going to stand him at stud, and he wasn't the strongest 500 metre dog. He sat down a little bit then, but at the times he still broke 30 seconds, and he could just run unbelievable to the back, and even if he was sitting down, he was still sharp enough to keep going.
And he won the Group 2 North Island Challenge Stakes here on this track a couple of years ago. Jake, what is he standing for?
He's standing for $1,000 for the first 6 months, and then we're just going to see if it may go up to, say, 1,500. We'll just see how it is, you know.
And they get the opportunity to get in early, because obviously if he fires up at stud, which you might think he might on his race record, then you could potentially be getting a bargain, so to speak.
Oh, exactly. That's why we thought for the first 6 months we'll do it a bit cheaper, and then hopefully step it up if we get quite a few interested. You know, like, I think, to be honest, his breeding is beautiful as well. You know, like, he wasn't just a good dog. His breeding, the mother that she was a good sprinter and everything herself. You know, she was a very good bitch in her own right. So hopefully the breeding and that and his race record pull a few people in and they come and see us.
That was Jake Bell with his thoughts around Allegro Gun, who's now standing at stud. Rozzo, of course, a son of Hi-Fi Allegro, so certainly plenty of speed in the line. And Allegro Gun, a dog who could burn early, and he's not the worst dog to go to stud in New Zealand.
No, look, I'd be tempted if I had the right sort of bitch. I have to do some research as to the line that might click with that particular line, but particularly if I had a bitch with a little bit of strength. But I think it needs to be remembered, Andy, as fast as he was able to get the 520 metres at good pace, sub-30 pace, some remarkably sharp sectionals, which is the key, of course. highlighted New Zealand breeding and size in particular over the last month, and we will continue to do so over the next month. And looking back at some of the records of these dogs, and it's almost like you forget just how good they are, and they kind of get lost because frozen semen's been so readily available from across the Tasman. But I do hope some of these dogs get their opportunity, including Allegro Gun, of course, Andy, and just a chance too to acknowledge the first New Zealand breds home in those two features we looked at that I meant to before. Opawa Hillary just nosing out a perfect result in the Stayers to take the New Zealand bred bonus there, and Double Speed in the South Island Championship that was dominated by the Australian imports.
Time now to head to Monday and the running of the Total Body Shop Supplies North Island Challenge Stakes. Was taken out, of course, by Thrilling Talk. He was the favourite in the blue rug of box number 4. Rosso is a well-supported favourite into odds on in the end. And just leaving the back straight there, certainly the telling point of the race. He got underneath Trojan Horse, Robson on the horse's heels, and may have been the difference between first or second. But, gee, he is an unbelievable animal, the Talk.
He is 30 starts, 21 wins, twice out of the money. That's been 4th. Racing, of course, often in the very best restricted age company. Won the Group 1 Futurity, beaten a nose by Trojan Horse in the New Zealand Derby. Another under consideration like Nature's Gent, and also Dinah Wesleyan for Greyhound of the Year honours, you would think. Robson, yeah, terrific again. That was the key point of the race, as you spoke about. And Trojan Horse, he just keeps turning up when the big dollars are up. Dual Group 1 winner himself this weekend. But very similar to last week, Andy. In the heat, Thrilling Talk had the 5, managed to duck across to the rail and grab the lead. Ran a 25 and 79, 25.82 final here on a day where the times were pretty quick. Although it wasn't the quickest, because All About Space won on the undercard in a 25.68, and I'm not sure how the Conspiracy Theory Syndicate would feel about that win, Andy, and the time, given that they were denied a start in the heats of this when they were told they could be part of the New Zealand size produce and then crudely withdrawn. However, taking nothing away from Thrilling Talk, Gary Harding, Karen Walsh. Karen's away on a break. Taylor Thornton was there on track handling the dog, and Sophie Whitaker back with the team too, which I was pleased to see. Andy, she had a 2-year working visa, had to go back home, but she's managed to get another year visa. So Sophie back with the team, and they were in Group 2 winning action there on Monday. Again, Group 1 field, Group 1 stake, Group 2 status.
Just quickly on his kennel mate, Thrilling Amigo, Rosso, who's a little bit unlucky as well when Robson got off Trojan Horse's heels, just checked him at the wrong time, and things going horribly wrong from him from that point. But he may have been in the finish as well had he have got round there untouched. Yes,
certainly, and he provided one of the highlights the prior week, Andy, when he did a remarkable job to get up and win his heat over the top of Trojan Horse and Big Time Cooper. That race completed a $20,000 terminating pick 6 that we are having on Mondays through the month of July at Palmerston North, and from this Sunday, also on Sunday at Manukau, $20,000 terminators through the month of July. Get involved. We didn't go far from filling up the whole $20,000 bin there on Monday, Andy.
Yeah, it was good. Unfortunately, my ticket was gone fairly early on, but never mind. We'll have a crack again next week, and it's certainly well worth chasing those $20,000 terminators. There is no doubt about that. Well, we are in July now, which means we are into the qualifying period of the Amazing Chase. It's been going for just over a week and a half. There have been some times put on the board at Addington Raceway. Of course, for those of you that don't know how it works, it's all based on times. Qualifiers from Addington Raceway, Hadtrick Raceway, and also Manukau Stadium will all converse at Addington Raceway for the final this year, where there will be 4 two-dog match races. Rosso, it is certainly an exciting series this year. Not a lot of out-of-town action. There'll be obviously some qualifiers from Wanganui and Pinny, Mac and Robson trying to make their way through from Auckland. But outside of Dinah Dave, Dinah Wesleyan, possibly a lot of talk, who control fast, this year just feels a little bit flat for mine compared to the last 2 years.
I think, Andy, it's taking a little bit of time to warm up, and of course there have been features at various other tracks, like for example Robson of course was at Manawatu for the North Island Challenge Stakes. Now things will hot up in the next couple of weeks, and I think this will get very exciting and potentially tactical as well, because dogs who might miss out on the home track at Addington, and here is the leaderboard at Addington, which is the only place really there's been any significant action. Dinah Dave, Nature's Gent, who, as Paul Freeman said, is going to get the opportunity at Hattrick and maybe even at Manukau as well. Great to see Opawa hop back and instantly in winning form. Max Dancer and M Grand Park, another for the Angela Turnbull team, who posted that time in a heat of the South Island Championship. So, Dave Fahey, Dave and Jean, they've got 11 down south, and 1 or 2 of those have been tried over distance at the moment. So it's sort of taking time for these dogs to get the opportunity over the 520 metres, Andy. But with the Amazing Chase moving into the sort of second half of the qualifying period, and with the National starting to crank as well, these dogs are going to get their opportunities in the next fortnight, and then some of them will also look at solo trialling if they get the opportunity to try and qualify for the Amazing Chase on the 28th of July. And of course, the opportunity for particularly the Canterbury dogs who don't make the top 3 down there might be searching north to try and qualify via Hattrick or Manukau, where the qualifying is going to be a little bit quieter. Hattrick this week, we've got She's For Us, a new Australian import that re-qualified last week in a very good sprint time of 17.55 for Matt Roberts, going around in race 6. Class 4 greyhound that's won in 29.43 at Sandown Park. And then on Sunday, Denise and Jared Yudi, Denise Cottam have got their 2 going around. Kiwi Gal and Ginger Might in race number 10 on the card. So we haven't seen Penny yet, and of course Robson's just come out of the Manawa 2 series. So Andy, look, I think it's been a quiet start. There's been obvious reasons for that, but we still have 32 live nominations, and things will crank in the next fortnight.
Yeah, no doubt about that. They will start to heat up. It'll be interesting to see Jean and Dave and even Craig whether they do venture north with some of these greyhounds to try and qualify through to the final. Well, time for DogZone dogs to follow. Here's a look back at last week and how we fared. It was a fairly plain week by Philippa and myself, but luckily we had the great man keeping us afloat, Rozzo, 2 from 4, Big Time Rod getting home at $2.30, so we'll just have to ride on your coattails this week.
Oh, look, Andy, you're riding me up there, $2.30, and I think Dinah Wesleyan was the other one, so no great value there. But however, and these aren't going to pay a great deal either, Dinah Varsity kind of picks himself in a Class 3 this race on Thursday at Addington. She's For Us, looking forward to seeing it go around. It'll be fairly short. Big Time Brody, it's a hot field, that race 8, so I think each way will be okay there, a 1/3 scenario. Big Time Rod, that's the New Zealand Racing Series final with All About Space, and Big Time Homie, you set the time standard, Andy. That's going to be a cracker on Friday at Hattrick. And Big Time Shine, surely she's got to win race number 12 on Friday. But again, there's no particular value there, Andy, but if they all roll in, hey, happy days.
Philippa looking to Friday at Wanganui as well. Big Time Shadow comes up with the red rug in race number 3. The red rug upon the back of Idle Hot in the 12th looks well boxed. Downgraded and Dangerous 5 Eyes comes up with box number 1 at Manawa 2 on Monday. I think all mine will be short as well. Mr. Consistent out. Dazzly looks hard to beat off a good draw on Thursday night at Addington. Opawa Hillary dropping out of the Group 1 Christchurch Casino New Zealand Stayers Cup. Dinah Varsity, as Rozzo pointed out, he's dropping back out of the South Island Champs, and I think Big Time Shine will be getting the job done as well. So that's how I see it. They'll all be short, but they should all be going very close to winning. That's about all we've got time for here on DogZone. Rozzo, as we come back to you to say goodbye. Obviously, it's been a little bit of a sad time in greyhound racing as well, with some recent passing aways of Ian Kay, Trevor Bull, and also Joe Tupiki, 3 people who most people watching the show will have heard of, and obviously our condolences out to their family and friends at the sad time. Yes, Andy, I echo those sentiments, and look, Trevor Bull and Joe Tupiki I knew for a long period of time, and I'm simply not going to be able to do them justice here, but I do plan to go to the funerals over the next couple of days, so I may touch on them again next week. Joe had some terrific dogs. He actually won the South Island Championships back in 1997 with Scorpio Bar when it was a Group 1. He had a dog called Tioro Poto that won 30 races. But to his large family, and I only know a couple, Graham and Errol, but I think 8 children that Joe and Julie had, they will farewell him on Friday in Upper Hutt at 11 o'clock. And Trevor Bull, well, I've had so many great discussions with Trevor, the Bullman, over the years, and his funeral is in Lower Hutt tomorrow, Thursday at 11 o'clock. So Andy, I will be attending both of those funerals, all going well, and maybe we can just touch on them briefly again next week, because they are 2 gentlemen that made a significant contribution to greyhound racing. And of course, Ian Kay, remember him well, particularly from the Chertsey days, greyhound racing many years ago. Yeah, they certainly will be sadly missed. Again, condolences out to their family and friends. Well, that's all we've got time for here on DogZone. We'll be back next week when we review and preview more greyhound racing from around the country. But until then, happy punting.
I'll be riding short.